Okay, I gotta tell you, I think I quit. This writing fiction is driving me crazy. Okay, I don't know if any of you tried to write a novel, but it is a tedious and just drive you absolutely bonkers type of prospect. And so, okay, so let's go back to the beginning. As many of you know, I retired this year. And what am I going to do in retirement? I got a list of a bunch of things that I want to do in retirement, but one of them is write a series of novels. Okay, so what am I going to write it on? Well, I'm going to write on what I know, and that is working with technology and youth. And so I'm like, yeah, this is great. So how I start is I do like an outline, and then pretty soon I'm at this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a 10-book series, and it's going to have a story arc across all of it. And like, okay, genre, I'm going to go with, like something like the Da Vinci Code. So it's kind of a mystery, but it's hidden in layers of actual historic things from different cities all around the world. And then these youth that I work with, so I've got to be like a educational consultant or something. So I'm going to base the character on me, on what I know. And I'm going to go around from school to school in all these international cities. And then I'm going to work with like three or four or five students from each school, and we're going to use technology, and we're going to solve a specific problem for that city. Okay, so that's this great grand delusional idea that I get. So I start to outline it, and I start to think of my favorite cities in the world, and I'm going to start in Istanbul. That's going to be my starting point because I love Istanbul, and I'm going to end in Reykjavik, Iceland, because I'm half Icelandic. I don't know if you know that. So I'm going to go back to my motherland of Iceland as my finishing thing. And so right now I'm in Tbilisi, Georgia. That's what's behind me right here. I'm in Tbilisi, Georgia. So book number 9 is going to be Tbilisi, and then 10 will be Reykjavik, and I got all the other books in the middle of all that. So great. The outline is sounding good. I'm so excited. I'm just like, yeah, this is going to be really good. And so then my next step is I've got to start to outline book number 1, the Istanbul book. Okay, so I outlined it. It's going to be called the Istanbul Cipher. I've got all these things. The outline's pretty good. And then the next thing I work on is character development. So, me as the protagonist in each story. It's kind of like a little bit of an ego trip there, narcissistic in a way. But anyhow, it's what I know. You got to write what you know. So I'm going to be like, okay, so I have a story. I have a growth thing that happens to me. My story arc goes over all 10 books, okay? So there's something that happens to me over all 10 books, but also each book I need to have, the character needs to grow, okay? This is basic storytelling, right? So I get into all this and I kind of outline that for me, and then I'm like, well, each one of these students I work with in each book or each city in the world, they've all got to have a story arc where they have some type of growth that happens to them. Okay, so I think I've got all that down. Now all that's left to do is write. Oh, mama, was this the bad one. I have written the Istanbul Cipher 3 times. First time, I got to chapter 8, and then I had a flaw in the logic of the story arc. I had to throw that one away. And then I wrote it again, okay, and I started to do that one. I started to publish that one online, and I don't know if you noticed, but I've deleted all those. I got to, what did I get to? I think chapter 3 or chapter 4, and then this last time I got to chapter 2, and I've had to throw it away. Maybe this is normal, I don't know, but boy, I'm getting ready to quit, and I'm only 4 weeks into my retirement of being a novelist and an author, and it stinks sometimes. So I've gone back to the beginning again on the Istanbul Cipher. As you know, I've been in Istanbul a lot this last couple of weeks doing research for it, because I want it to be authentic. I want it to really show that this thing I fundamentally believe in, and that is, and I believe this more than just a novelist. I mean, I believe this, that the youth of the world can really fix the world and use their talent that they have with technology and all these other things to find solutions to real problems. So that's what I believe in, and that's what I'm doing. But I've written the book 3 times, well, started to write it 3 times now and thrown it away. So please ignore all the little bits and pieces of the chapter. I'm going to go back into social media and delete all those. and I'm taking a break right now, and hopefully I will be back in a few days. Maybe once I leave Tbilisi, I'm going to go back to Istanbul and continue my research and find the incredible and interesting things about that city and tie it into the storyline so that the reader, you as the reader, get this full experience of like going, it's like I'm there. And I'm really working hard with my metaphors to really get people to really feel what the city means to me. Like when how you walk the streets, what it looks like, what it smells like, what it just tastes like. It's just, Istanbul is such an incredible city. Book 2 is off to Nairobi, which, if you know my work in the school I was just at, we do a lot of work down in Kenya. So there's a little bit, a nod to Kenya coming up next. But I can't get there until I get this freaking book finished. So I don't want to start it, but I'm going to start it, and we'll see what happens in the next little bit. So anyhow, that's the update. That's why you don't see any more new little snippets coming out about the Istanbul Cipher, because I'm mad. I'm mad at myself. I'm mad at this freaking project, and we will just see where it goes from there. So anyhow, thanks for listening along, and cheers.